We'll turn our attention to the Great Plains. Great Plains begin where the green eastern woodlands give out to the west and continue on over to the Rocky Mountains. They're a vast grassland because of the particular combination of rainfall and grass adapted to that rainfall there. They're a very rich environment capable of supporting vast herds of large animals, most famously bison, but several other species of large animals that were hunted. When Lewis and Clark went through the plains in 1804, there were giant grizzly bears, all kinds of dangerous critters as well as friendly critters, and the Native Americans were out there with those people for at least 12,000 years that we know of. As a matter of fact, at the Lubbock Lake site in the panhandle of Texas, it's very interesting that at this old site that has a very long sequence, there are horses there 10,000 years ago, more than 10,000 years ago, but those were Pleistocene horses that went extinct, and then there were about 10,000 years without horses, and then the Spanish started bringing horses into New Mexico, and very soon those horses were adopted by people all up and down the plains, and for about 200 years they had one of the most colorful horse-born cultures in the world, and that'll be most of our focus this week. We won't look so much on the past of the plains. The past of the plains before those 200 years was not a spectacular culture. It was plains were very useful for being a place to get bison and the like, but mostly people didn't live in the plains in great numbers, except under very special climatic conditions that came along occasionally. But while most Americans were rushing to gold rushes in North Carolina and California and in other parts of the world, Native Americans went to the plains and learned to live there on horses in the 200 years between about 1650 and 1850 or so. And I've given you quite a bit in the overview on languages this week. It's the plains are one of the most interesting areas in North America linguistically, because you have these people coming in from all directions, and one of the ways to organize the people within the plains is to look at their language affiliation. And in our study guide this week, this is one of the more interesting study guides because it reflects the different people coming in from different directions with entirely different backgrounds. For instance, you have the Cheyenne, Algonquian speakers coming in from the corn-growing villages of the East. They bring their social organization with them. They modify it to meet this new situation of a horse nomadic culture in the plains. Same thing happens to very different people coming from the West. The Comanches, who came out of the Great Basin and were Uto-Aztecan speakers, and for them, they brought a different kind of social organization, different kinds of houses, different kinds of camps and everything. But one of the things that we do see in the plains is no matter where people came from, they started moving toward or converging on a common social organization. So take your questions to each other, give each other answers, and don't forget to enjoy your readings and learnings.